Hello all, I hope you're all doing well. Continuing with our weekly portion review, we are in the midst of the Exodus of Egypt. Um, in this portion, in the portion of Va'era, which is "and I appeared." Again, a translation from Hebrew. We are focusing on the first seven plagues, and we focus a little on the Moses and his family tree, the Levite family as well. But we are going through the motions of this back and forth with Pharaoh, and the Israelites are witnessing much of God's miracles. Uh, However, today I wanted to focus a little on the idea of Egypt itself and what happens when we leave Egypt and what remains of Egypt, right? Because after the Israelites leave, right, we know Egypt today, but this is a huge event in history, and there must have been an effect on the Egyptian people as well. And in a certain way, we have to realize that actually what remains from Egypt is actually the people of Israel. We, in a certain sense, and not trying to do any cultural appropriation, but we are the last Egyptians. So if you want to really understand Egypt, you need to look at Israel, and then it's the inverse. In the negative, you'll find what Egypt looked like. Now, this is also why when Moses reminds the Israelites just before they enter the land, right, in Deuteronomy 4:32, he tells them, "Ask now the days that are past. Has God ever taken for himself one nation out of another nation?" Right? So just like a womb obviously forms a fetus, here too, Egypt formed us. It's the national mother of the people of Israel. And this is also why the Torah commands us not to return to Egypt, right? This is to prevent a collective incestuous relationship with our national mother, right? This is sort of the Oedipus complex that we have regarding Egypt. And the Torah also commands us, you shall not despise an Egyptian, for you were a sojourner in his land, right? We were there beforehand, and we have to realize the relationship we had with them. So despite really the immense suffering that we experienced there, ultimately Egypt its identity is where the Israeli identity or the Israelite identity is born from. And if that's the case, we need to ask, why did the divine providence see in arranging for Egypt to give birth to the Israelite nation? And in the Passover service, in the Passover Haggadah, we read and we say, "And Jacob went down to Egypt, compelled by the divine word, anus al pia dibur." So what is this word we're talking about? The Kabbalistic sages explain that this is really referring to the divine word which the world was created, right? As we say in Psalms, "By the word of the Lord the heavens were made." Now, from that word, humanity was ultimately created, and many nations descended from it until the word actually reaches its final and finest result at that time, which is the Egyptian nation, which is tremendously powerful. They had a very, very developed theology as well. And unfortunately, the Egyptian nation at some point imprisoned that word within itself, right? And then they are entirely focused on the concept of slavery. And in Egypt, everything and everyone were enslaved to nature. If you look back to last year's conversation, we also spoke about that, their relationship with the snake, their relationship with the Nile, but they're completely imprisoned in this Ouroboros, in this natural cyclical relationship. And because of that, they also see it natural for them also to have these slaves. Now, finally, it has come the time to release this word that's trapped in Egypt and open up its mouth. Right? In Hebrew, Pesach, opening a speaking mouth, a verbal mouth, is also Pesach for Passover as well. So there's a little linguistic game there that we can notice. And really for this purpose, God planted the seed of freedom in Egypt. And from it comes the people of Israel. And in due time, the word would actually emerge from Egypt and be freed from Egypt together with the Egyptian people itself. So God really freed the world And by freeing us, by the action of the Exodus, he is letting the world know this message of freedom. And we have to realize how we can't squander this amazing gift God has given us. And whether that is freedom from physical freedom from shackles, to spiritual freedom, to mental freedom, to realize how we shouldn't be locked down by these external forces and rather orient ourselves towards God and his mission. I wish us all a Shabbat Shalom. Take care.